January the 22nd. Buckle up, this will be a wild ride. I mentioned ants and dogs and cats and even sea squirts here. Today I want to add the giant jewel beetle to our menagerie, specifically the giant jewel beetle from Australia. A while back, their mating habits with beer bottles of all things was a taxing affair. Males could not stop trying to copulate with the bottles, affectionately known as stubbies, once they'd landed on one, unless they were physically removed from them. This nearly led to the extinction of a giant jewel beetle. Why, you might ask? It wasn't the beer. No, it is a truth universally known that a brain is in need of energy. Copious amounts of energy. This leads the sea squirt to get rid of its senses and brain, or most of its brain, once it starts its stationary stage in life and can't be bothered with reality anymore. But all animals come equipped with tricks and hacks that give them the desired results in the most energy-efficient ways. In the case of a giant jewel beetle, this means that the males don't search so much for a female as they search for something golden brown and glittering with little bumps. Cue in the lower bumpy rim of a golden brown glass stubby the bugs mistook for the most beautiful girl east of Bondi Beach. Fear not. The beer companies stopped making bumpy bottles, and the useless fornication that often ended in the death of the males without any hires had an end. But there are two important lessons in that story that are also true for humans. One, we don't have senses to know the truth. Two, energy efficiency is great until we bump into supernormal stimuli, things that would never occur in nature and are more attractive than the real thing. Then they reveal the tricks that evolution has built into us, and all goes off the rails. Our little beetle friends obviously have senses to reproduce, and that is true for us humans as well. When we look at the world, our senses make us attracted to fitness and turned off by the opposite. It explains our obsession with youth and big eyes and what we perceive as nice smells. But that can be only partly true. Despite all the difficulties stemming from small hips and big heads and our offsprings being naturally born prematurely, reproduction isn't putting pressure on humankind anymore, at least when you are not a racial purist or someone in need of cheap labor. We as humans have a capability to manage reproduction and manage aging in such ways that our overpopulation of a planet endangers its survival and as a viable place to live. We evolve as part of a symbiosis with what Caleb Scharf calls the data. Our stimuli are information, which we use to create new ideas, like the giant jewel beetle is driven to create more giant jewel beetles. And here it gets very complicated, because the giant jewel beetle, just like the stubby and the device you're just using to listen to me, are themselves only creations we have put on the stage we call time and space and reality, made up from the information we live in symbiosis with. Like the icons on your desktop that stand for complicated processes that happen in the background, or the simulation you enter when you put on the VR goggles. They are only there because that's a way data, energy, makes sense to us in the wires of our brain. Just to mix in another metaphor we use throughout all languages to explain the abstracts. I will get back and continue this train of thought further in other contexts. That's what I do here, putting things from different fields of science together to help us understand what we deal with daily and how it might help us to deal with things better. Today I want to return to the idea of a supernormal stimulus and our human stubby problem. One more data point and I will tie it all together with a nice bow on top. 1/3 of our neurons are employed in visual perception. a process that on the mechanical level we have almost completely reverse engineered today. From this, as much as from psychological research, we know that any movement captures our attention the most. Unless it's repetitive movement, repetition makes us lose interest. So what might be our equivalent of a bumpy rim of a golden brown and glittery bottle? Visual information. The screen that lights up the alert on the phone with video. We want information. That's why we are here. But we want it for a reason. To make babies with it. New ideas. I will not go there. I will not extend the image of a male jewel bug dying under the hot Australian sun on the stubby while fornicating to us and videos. All I say is, think while you watch. Make a habit out of thinking.